I had the fun idea to follow eye drawing tutorials from all around the world to find out which country draws the best eyes. First up, America. So we're gonna go with this video because it's the first video that came up. So she started off with these helpful guidelines. And I kind of drew this like, oh gosh, this parallelogram shape that she's kind of filling it in to make it more rounded. Okay. I've never actually tried this technique before, but it's pretty easy to follow, which is good for ratings. Which reminds me, how are we going to rate each country's eyes to find out which country draws the best eyes? Well, we gotta make sure everything is even throughout. So I'm gonna be using the favorite and best brush ever, the line art brush from the Dreamy sketch pad. Literally my holy grail. I use it for everything and it's in the description if you also want to download it for Procreate, which is the app I'm using for all the eyes as well. Just gotta keep it consistent. And in terms of rating, we're just gonna rate based on 2 points, difficulty and overall look, which I think is what you're mainly looking for in a good tutorial. So that's all we need. Their eye definitely has a lot more like a rounder, cuter shape than mine. Mine looks kind of like a siren eye and they did a lot of eyeliner there. Let's just focus on one eye, all right? And then they drew a really round circle for the pupil. So all right, and then bottom lashes. Girl, you are going kind of fast. And then these kind of lines for the upper eyelid. Shaded that in. Okay, let's get rid of these guidelines and see how it looks. Okay. Oh, I like how I just did a impromptu mole there. Let's keep that. And then they're adding some shading. I think it looks pretty cute. Okay, they have a lot of emphasis on this outline, so I'm gonna make that darker here as well. Okay, and then they refined their pupils a little bit more, so let me just fix that up. And they added some very nice delicate lashes, so let's do that too. My favorite part, I love doing this. I love implementing the thick to thin, you know, this shape. Iconic. It's everywhere. And this brush does it so well. All right, this is the America representative eye tutorial result. So this is how I would render it. And let's do our first rating. So difficulty scale from easy, medium to hard. This one was not bad, so easy. Overall look from a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being terrible and 10 being literally the most beautiful thing. I actually quite like it. Let's go with an 8. And then Japan. So I actually did a poll on YouTube where I asked who has the best eye drawing tutorial, and majority of you guys said Japan, so high expectations. じゃあ目を描きましょう。Can you imagine if I just did the whole thing in Japanese? Yeah, no. So I picked the first video that came up when I typed in eye drawing tutorial. So he started off with a circle guideline, so that is what I'm doing. And then he drew this like peanut. No, that's not a peanut. Like pentagon shape. Okay, he's kind of speedy. I'm taking like 2 minutes to just draw the lashes. Also, by the way, I am checking every artist's social media just so I don't pick like a Canadian artist to represent America because that just wouldn't make sense. And for the pupil, he did a long oval. Oh gosh, a long oval shape. Am I the only one that just like always keeps drawing the same shape? And like it looks identical, but I'm just like, no, it looks bad. Let's just go with this one. A little circle there. He kind of left a gap here, so I'll do that too. Another little small half circle, and then another big round oval. Hey, whoa, that's pretty good. And I feel like this finished really fast. And here it is without the guidelines. This looks pretty legit. Like I could see this in a manga, right? Yeah, right? I hope. And this is how I would render it. So difficulty scale from easy, medium, hard. Definitely 100% easy. I feel like it's super beginner friendly. You know what if we draw the rest of the eyes together? Like it'd be fun. Just like grab a piece of paper, let's draw some eyes together. Why not? Anyways, rating. I feel like I like both of them so far evenly that I just want to give them a tie, but that's not fun. So I asked my Instagram peeps and you guys voted without knowing that it was a continental battle for America. So I'll give Japan a 7.5 out of 10. All right, then we got Russia. So again, I'm clicking the first video that comes up, which is this one. Oh, okay. They're kind of like me. They don't really go in with guidelines. So let's just freehand that. They have a very round one. So let's make it nice and round. Looks like a cute little lemon. Wow. Artists can draw like really round circles. Like her circle is perfect. And then the disjointed eyelid. That I feel like is a common trend. No one really like connects the eyelid. The lovely eyelashes. I feel like mine are a little bit thicker than hers. Oh, okay. This is the first tutorial that does an eyebrow. So they did it quite close to the eye, almost touching it. Yeah, okay. And then they do another circle in. Ooh, that was terrible. Theirs looks so much better than mine, but I feel like I followed everything. So in their tutorial, they actually did do a rendering tutorial part, but just to keep it even as possible because none of the others did, I will just render it the way that I would do it. And again, we're going to use the same color palette just to keep it as consistent as possible. And now for the ratings. So honestly, I think this one was a little bit harder. I think it might be the shape of the eye and it just being quite large made it kind of hard to color. And drawing it itself was honestly a little bit harder than the first two, so I'm gonna give it a medium. And overall look, I think it's pretty cute, but I feel like it's not really my style, so I'm gonna give it a 6.7 out of 10. And then we got China next. So although this one was the first video that popped up, it is a little different from the rest because they don't have like a separate liner and then like a coloring portion. They just kind of, their liner is their rendering. So that's just what we're gonna do then. All right, they're also Rebel IC, no guidelines. And while we're here, can I just say I love every style so far, and I know I kind of put a lot of pressure on these random artists that I picked to represent their country, and I know that each eye do not fully represent each country, as every artist has their own style, every country has their own style, no eye should really represent a country. I just hope that the main takeaway for this video is that there are a bunch of skilled artists out there undiscovered just because we don't speak the same language. So I had this idea to kind of do like a international little impromptu competition just to show that there are so many skilled artists out there, and hopefully we learn a thing or two from them. I love the way they did their lashes. Thick to thin, delicious. Okay, see, and they go straight into the rendering. So again, I'm just using the same colors that I'm using for the other eyes. And if you are curious and want to try out this color palette as well, it is for free to download in the description. Give it a go. It's one of my favorite color palettes to use. It's very soft, very neutral, very cute. Oh, see, and again here, I think we kind of have the slightly disjointed eyelid. Definitely a very common trend that we're seeing. I also like how their pupil is not like perfectly round. They just kind of like blocked in a shape, which is very helpful for me because I cannot draw perfect circles in the first go. Very good technique. And they went in with a blue, but because the rest of the eyes that we did were brown, we got to stick with the brown. Hello, this is Viora in editing mode. How's it going? I feel like for YouTube videos, you never really get this like one-on-one. So I just want to like pop in mid-video and be like, I hope you're having a good day. And if you watch this fully and up to this point and you are hearing this message, because I feel like a lot of people are just gonna like skip and like look at the final results, which I totally get. I would 100% do that too. So if you are like watching fully to this point, if I could, I would personally send you a dove with a thank you note. So if you hear this, why not comment down below where you're from? We can have a nice international chat comment box section. I feel like that'd be really cool. Okay, this is nice. Yeah, we should do this more often. Okay, let's get back to the eye. And they're using the smudge tool, which is something that I don't think any of the other tutorials have done, just because they're kind of rendering into their line art step. And again, for the smudge, I am using the same brush. Oh, I do like how they went in with a slightly darker color just to highlight here slightly a little bit. I like that. That's a nice touch. I'm gonna steal that. The highlights, oh my gosh, are probably one of my favorite things to do. And this pink thing is also pretty underrated. A lot of the eye tutorials have done this so far. I quite like it. Okay, and it just seems like they're adding a little bit more shadow and doing a little bit more refining, so that's what we're gonna do. All right, and I think we are done. That was honestly super fun. Like, I've never rendered anything like that before or spent so much time on an eye before, and I think it turned out pretty nice. All right, time for the rating. So I think on a scale of easy, medium, hard, this one was definitely a lot more time consuming and required a lot more steps, so I'm going to say hard, but I think it paid off. And while we're here, honestly, these all are so nice. Like, I love every country's style. That being said, like, I really like this. I think I'll give this like a 9.6 out of 10. Next up, France. So this is the first video that came up, and I'm actually quite excited to do this one because the style that this artist draws in is, I think, considered like a little bit more simplistic, which is a style that I've been wanting to try for a long time, so I am excited. Very simple 3 lashes, love it. Okay, she's going kind of fast. It's one of those time-lapse tutorials. Oh, see, I like how she did the pupil because I feel like the pupils that we did before, especially the last one, was like really intense, a lot of detail. So I like how this one's just like nice and simplistic. That's all you need. Oh, wow. Okay, so we're basically done. And here is how I would render it. Also, don't mind the Russian eye just appearing here and there. I just had to seal its colors real quick. Nice. All right, and we're done. Here is the French representative eye. So rating it in terms of difficulty, definitely an easy, highly recommend. I feel like my mom, who has 0 drawing experience, could definitely do it. And overall look, I don't know if you can tell, but I really like it. So I think I'm gonna give it a 7.6 out of 10. All right, and then we have Korea. So you already know the drill. I put this in, and this is the first video that came up. Okay, so they started off with a parallelogram shape again. So let's do that as well. Okay, I think this one might be similar to the China representative eye, just because I think they're incorporating the rendering into their line art. Because here I'm kind of doing the smudge tool again, which is pretty common if you want to render during the line art stage. And it seems like for their pupil, they're not doing like a full circle. It's kind of like a longer oval shape and is not fully enclosed, I think. Okay, then they just filled it in with gray and went straight to the rendering. So that is what we're gonna do too. Also, I just realized I think this might mean I have to render through grayscale, which I've also never tried before. Okay, so they added a few more shadows, so I did that too. And I think we're gonna go on to the rendering. Okay, real quick Viora confession time. I honestly don't really know the difference between rendering, coloring, and shading. I just use it like interchangeably. So I've just been saying rendering because I want to sound smart. All right, and here is the Korea representative eye. All right, now for the ratings. So on the scale of easy, medium, hard, this one was definitely hard for me, if not the hardest one, because this technique specifically required a lot of the smudge tool, which I often don't really use. And this was like 90% smudging to achieve this result. And in terms of overall look, I don't think I did a great job just because, again, I'm not used to the tools that they used, but I think it turned out pretty nice. However, I don't know if it's the technique because I used the same color palette, but it turned out a lot darker than the rest, which I actually quite like the lighter color palette. This one is quite dark, so I think I'm gonna give it an 8.2 out of 10. All right, and time for the awards ceremony. We have China in first, Korea in second, and America in third. Honestly, looking at them all, I love them all so much. Let me know which one's your top 3. And that's all for now. All right, bye!